looks like a quorum to me. Do we have finance, or do we have Assemblymember Caballero to present her bill? If not, do we have finance and LAO to talk about 186? We have anybody prepared to present anything? We have two bills that we were supposed to consider. Yeah, you could do that one, actually. We could have Ashburn do that one. All right, let's do that one first while you're all coming up, but that's fine. Senator Ashburn, you want to go down there and present the AB 183? Thank you. You're going to present it on the floor, too, so that works perfectly. Never mind. Sorry, folks. All right, we'll do this in order. He's got a bunch of supporters, so you have to vacate. All right.
This looks like my crowd here.
Let's call the roll so we establish our quorum first. Thank you. Here.
Alquist. Here. Ashburn.
Present.
Cogdill.
Here.
DeSaulnay. Harmon. Huff. Leno.
Here.
Liu. Here. Lowenthal.
Here.
Negretti McLeod. Here. Padilla. Semidian. Wright.
All right. A quorum having been established, Senator Ashburn, please present AB 183.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and happy birthday to you.
And vice versa.
This is the
share a birthday.
Home Purchasers Tax Credit. If there is truly a bipartisan measure moving through the legislature, this would be it. Democrats and Republicans recognizing the value of providing incentive to those purchasing homes in our state, the new jobs that are created as a result of that activity, leads us to this $200 million tax credit, $100 million on new homes and $100 million on existing homes as part of the job stimulus that is so needed in our state. And so, again, this is a bipartisan measure, and I would ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you very much. I would just two notes, and then I'll let everybody talk. One, members, one half of this is very similar to the one Senator Ashburn carried a year ago that most of us, I think in this House at least, supported. And the other half is first-time home buyers only. And when you say $200 million, if you look on the second page of the analysis, it's clear that it's only $6 million in the budget year, assuming this is done on an urgency basis and happens now, and $69 million in the budget year. So the $200 million is spread out over 4 years. It's not all today.
Right, and I would say if you take the view, as some do, that a tax credit costs, but we know, hey, how are you?
You can do the close. Senator Ashburn already opened for you, and
Let me just make my point.
Yes.
We know from the first home purchasers tax credit of last February, a year ago last February, that the tax revenue generated from that for state and local taxes greatly exceeded the cost of the tax credit provided to those home purchasers. And so similarly here, some want to score this as a cost. For those of us who believe that this actually generates tax revenue, I think the numbers speak for themselves.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go to the supporters, and then we'll let you close, Ms. Caballero, if that works for you. Mr. Manning.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Ed Manning on behalf of the California Major Builders Council. We sponsored one of the sponsors of the last tax credit, and it was very, very successful. The federal tax credit ends the end of April, so this is an urgent measure, and we encourage your support and thank the authors.
When the federal one ends, does that mean this will be the only one? There won't be the double thing like it was last time?
The federal credit ends April 30th. This goes into effect May 1st.
So if people... Oh, this doesn't go effect till after it's over. Okay,
which is so it's seamless, and otherwise we'd have nothing in place.
But it's not the double credit there was before. Okay, thank you.
Allison Barnett on behalf of the California Building Industry Association. I would just echo the comments of Mr. Manning and urge your aye vote, and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Dave Milton with the California Association of Realtors, and as you would noted, this measure, unlike the previous one, does apply to existing homes as well, not just new homes, and that is the first-time home buyer application, much like the federal, which was also first-time home buyers. And as Allison indicated, it's a seamless transition if we go into effect May 1st because the other first-time home buyer dies on April 30th. So we very much support and urge your support.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, Skip Dahm on behalf of the American Subcontractors Association, thousands of subcontractors and hundreds of subcontracting companies. This is obviously a jobs bill for us. Whether a home is new or existing, there's a lot of work to be done. Subcontractors are ready to do it. So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Hi. John Benton on behalf of CalPAST, the specialty contractors, also in support.
Thank you. Is there any opposition? Hearing none. Ms. Caballero, you want to close? Oh, Mr. Leno has a question. And Ms. Alquist, okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be supporting the bill today, but I just wanted to see if either of you could share with us any data that you may have. The analysis says that there are no studies on the specific impacts of the 2009 tax credit. If there is some specific assurances for us that this is more than just a feel-good measure, clearly it's going to help some homes be purchased, but if we know that it's going to bring in more than it costs, I think it'd be good to confirm that.
Well, the information, thank you for that question, Senator. The information that I had was that the Construction Industry Research Board reported a 39% increase in new permits for construction after we passed the first-time home buyers tax credit back in 2009. That was very significant because the previous months had indicated a steady decline in the number of new permits, and so that's the only information I have that's current.
Do we know how many months that was sustained?
I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, until the credits ran out, and they ran out.
Yeah, we ran out in June.
They ran out in July of 2009.
Look, beyond the new, because that one was only about new homes, that's the permits, but I think just footnote to finance somewhere down the road, it might be helpful if somebody could give property tax, the kind of things that Senator Ashburn was talking about, if there's property tax information that shows homes got bought and got put on the property tax rolls that weren't on the property tax rolls in some fashion, or what that was at some point, that might be helpful if somebody out there that finance world doesn't.
If I could also, a couple more additions that might be helpful, is that a construction of a new home produces $300,000 of economic activity, according to the Sacramento Regional Research Institute. And further, studies show that the state earns approximately $16,000 in tax revenues for each new home, and that local governments earn $3,000 for each home. So those are some of the numbers that we were using as we were looking at this tax credit.
But that's on the one half. The other half is maybe helps the community because you take foreclosed properties off the market right now. But
yes, and actually, what I was going to add in terms of my closing is that I had the opportunity to meet fairly extensively with local government organizations, city councils, and county board of supervisors who were very concerned about the blight that was occurring because of vacant homes, and they were looking for some relief. We ended up running into problems in terms of legislative relief because what happens is they turn off all the electricity and the water, and that's for liability purposes when they foreclose on a home, and then to try and get that back to keep the home in good condition became very difficult. So there's no question that local government felt the impacts of these vacant homes, and once they started to sell, the vignettes I heard back was that they were very happy that it was resolving itself because the homes were starting to
back online. Senator Alquist.
Thank you. It's a great bill. Back in 2001, I carried the first-time homebuyers affordable down payment bill, which was signed into law. And I think it's important for us to be doing things in this area. I think it's a great bill. I would love to be added as a co-author if I'm not on it yet, and I would also like to move the bill.
I don't know that we can add amendments here with co-authors and not complicate our lives.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, sorry. It's here on, no, it's not on concurrence here, but.
Yeah, I will ask.
We'll see if that's possible. We'll do it. I'm not quite sure. This is going to be on the floor in about half an hour.
Okay.
So we're not really interested in. No, and any number of us might want to do that, but nobody wants to amend it. Nobody wants to reprint it.
I understand.
All right. Hearing no opposition, Senator Alquist has moved the bill. Call the roll.
DeCheney? Dutton? Alquist?
Aye.
Ashburn?
Aye.
Cogdill? DeSaulnay? Harmon? Huff? Leno? Lou? Lowenthal? Negretti McLeod? Padilla? Semidion? Wright? 14-0.
Bill has 14 votes. It is out, but we will leave the roll open should Senator Wright appear and desire to be added on. I think he's the only one missing, right?
Right, he's the only one missing.
Okay. All right, now we bring back the finance and LAO folks who were up here before. Members, the other matter we have to consider is AB 186. This essentially reenacts something we had done earlier when we did our special session budgets. This is the revised version of the fuel tax swap. You remember that the one we passed a week or so ago remains on the governor's desk. However, issues that came up subsequent to that bill going to enrollment for certain railroad and aviation folks, that this might have created some inequities, and therefore the bill before us is everything in that other bill with 3 or 4 amendments, basically. So I'm just trying to cut down how much explanation we have to do here, and I'm ask Finance to present on the new revisions.
All right, thank you. Mark Monroe, Department of Finance. Real briefly, under current law, the diesel fuel that is sold for use by trains and buses is exempt from excise tax, and so because the other bill is taking down the sales tax on these users and increasing the excise tax, there ends up being a net increase for these users. And it's a similar thing on the gasoline side with the aviation gasoline, whereby there's no sales tax charged currently. So by increasing the excise tax, we're actually causing a net increase in the amount of fuel taxes that are paid by these users as well. And so this bill fixes both of those.
All right. So just for anybody for whom that might have been too confusing, but the bottom line here, members, is that all groups who pay either excise tax or sales tax on fuel will be basically held harmless in terms of how much the user pays changing. We do change the who gets it, and it does still, as it did last week, provide more money for roads, more money for transit, and apparently the ongoing general fund impact is somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million. Is that accurate? Anybody out there?
That's our understanding.
It does lower some of our general fund savings on this because of the way the interactions work, right? LAO?
No. Right, on the diesel side, there's an ongoing reduction of about $3 million. On the gasoline side, it would be just 1 year, about $6 million for the aviation fuel.
So de minimis impacts on the $1 billion or so to the general fund that the original bill provided. All right, Senator Lowenthal.
So what
you're
what you're saying then, Senator Cheney, Madam Chair, is that if there was an exemption before on the excise tax, as we move it over to the sales tax, we're just going to maintain that exemption. Right. That's all we're doing.
That's the main thing, and it also sort of evens it up. If you had the exemption in the sales tax, you don't get
it's
the
just
increase.
A small equitable equity.
Again, I think it creates equity for end users so that they are not impacted in any way in terms of how much they're paying on a per gallon basis. All right, people in support.
Madam Chair, Juan Acosta on behalf of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. The bill does exactly as you described it. It reconciles one of the primary policy objectives of the bill sitting on the governor's desk, the special session bill on the fuel tax swap, which was tax neutrality, revenue neutrality to taxpayers with an inadvertent oversight, which undermined current law, the exemption provided to a number of off-road diesel users. So we appreciate the committee's assistance and the staff work on this as well.
Okay. Thank you. You got a lineup behind you. Who wants to vacate for the lineup?
Madam Chair, Wes Lujan on behalf of the Union Pacific Railroad. I just want to echo the comments made by Mr. Acosta. We appreciate the effort that you and your staff have made to rectify the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ackerman.
Madam Chair, Dave Ackerman, representing the Associated General Contractors. Again, we're in support. These are the technical amendments that needed to be made. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Gus Court, on behalf of the California Transit Association, we're okay with the amendments. It's our understanding that this will still provide for a $350 million ST program going forward. So we thank you for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
I'll make it quicker, Madam Chair. Members, Mark Watts, representing Transportation California, coalition of contractors and labor, supported the measure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Cruz on behalf of the California Alliance for Jobs. Appreciate the hard work that went into this as well, and look forward to seeing this pass.
Patrick Henning on behalf of the California State Council of Labor is joining our helpful employer contractors, and hopefully this project goes forward. Thank you all.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Deanne Baker representing the California State Association of Counties. We very much appreciate the improvements that you've made to the governor's suggestion on the swap and are there and like to lend our support.
Thank you.
Keith Dunn on behalf of the Self-Help Counties Coalition, echoing my colleagues' comments and appreciate the hard work that went into addressing some of the problems that we had with this before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Henslee here today on behalf of the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association. Those members of our association that consume red-dyed diesel fuel, we really appreciate this cleanup and totally understand that it wasn't the intent of staff or members to have us caught up in the bill in the first place.
Right. Okay. That said, is there any opposition?
Move the bill.
Hearing none. Senator Lowenthal moves the bill. Anybody? Questions, comments? If not, call the roll.
Cheney?
Aye.
Dutton?
No.
Alquist?
Aye.
Ashburn?
No.
Cogdill?
No.
DeSaulnay?
Aye.
Harmon?
No.
Huff?
No.
Leno?
Aye.
Lou? Lowenthal?
Aye.
Negretti McLeod? Padilla?
Aye.
Semidian?
Aye.
Wright. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 to 5. 9-5.
All right. That measure has 9 votes. So it is out. We will leave the roll open for 5 minutes for Senator Wright, should he appear by 1:30. If not, we will adjourn at 1:30, and Ms. Negretti McLeod can now go hold her hearing in B&P. Thank you very much. See you all on the floor, too. We may be back off the floor, members. Just be aware. The Assembly may do what we just did in a different format, and we may have to hear that again this afternoon. This is the full